I've spoken on this topic before about healing the body, and it's not only important to follow medical advice and take any medicines that you need for your body and being proactive in your diet and your exercise and looking after your body, but also making sure you've done the work with the emotions that are attached to the part of your body that is suffering, because our cells hold a memory, and it can go back to like even to as a child. If you fell and scun your knees, maybe if you did it at school, and so a school staff member came and treated you and sort of fixed you up quickly and then just said, come on, back off to your classroom, and didn't give you the time or the recognition at that particular time in your life where you felt like you needed to be held and talked through. It hurt, what you just happened to you hurt. So if there's any kind of experience like that in your past, those emotions that you were not allowed to express at the time can sit in the body somewhere. It's like the cell remembers that particular time. And so it sort of becomes a weak area in the body. And then as time goes on, if it happens again and you get hurt and you feel those same emotions of being hurt, then it can also like add to that part of your body that's already weak, and then it gets weaker and weaker, and then later on it can end up being a disease that's formed in the body, or it's such a weak point that you end up injuring that part of your body quite easily because it's weak. So a good exercise to do is if you've got some kind of disease or some kind of injury in your body, first of all, try to find the connection to, you may be able to find to when it first started. So when did you start to feel this pain in the body, or when did this disease start in your body, and what was happening around your life at the time? So you can also kind of put the two and two together. Like if it's your back that's injured and your spine is injured, or the gel between the bones, anything to do with the spine. If you think about it, the spine is what holds you up. It's your structure, it's your form, it's what carries you tall. If you at some point in your life felt like you let others down, or you failed yourself, if you felt like, oh my God, I'm a bit useless and I've failed myself, I failed other people, that crumbling and letting down can sit in the spine, because the spine is what holds you up. It is what makes you tall. So if you can sort of put the two and two together, or like if it's your feet or your ankles or your legs, they are what carries you. So if you've ever in your past felt like you were really stuck and you couldn't get out of a situation and you really wanted to, but you just couldn't, you were just stuck in it. If you didn't deal with those emotions at the time and you stored them in your body, later on it can start to affect your legs and feet, because that's what carries you forward. What if it's anxiety? And throughout your life, you've just piled and piled and piled on emotions that you just haven't been able to deal with any of them at all. They build up to a point of they're trying to get out, and they're trying to get you to step out of your comfort zone. But quite often it's more comfortable to hold on to anxiety because you're familiar with that. You know the anxiety, even though you don't want anxiety, you know it. Not having anxiety can make you feel like even more anxious, because then you don't know what your life would be like without the anxiety. It's just like you become so used to it, and it's trying to step you out of your comfort zone. So if you can just do one little small thing that is not something you would normally do, something that is uncomfortable for you, maybe it's getting on a bus and with a group of other people. If just that one thing you can do it, it can start to break down that pattern of the anxiety notes, and it sort of shows you that I can do this and nothing happened to me. I did it and nothing bad happened to me. It's all about trying it and then seeing that nothing happened that was the end of the world. I used to say to myself, what's the worst thing that could happen? I could die, but that's not the worst thing that could happen, because dying is a beautiful experience. So then I would end up saying, well, there's nothing worse that could happen. There's actually nothing bad that could happen. Like, because if death was the worst thing that could happen, that's still not the worst thing, because it's a beautiful place. So autoimmune systems. Growing up, if you have really known your truth, you know what you're speaking is the truth, you know where you want to be in life and what you want to do. And if you've had other people in your life, parents, teachers, that told you you couldn't be that person, you had to be what they wanted you to be, that can create weakness in the autoimmune system, because you are feeling like, this is my truth and no one is letting me express my truth. They're telling me, they're not listening to me, they're not understanding me, and they're wanting me to be what they want me to be. They're not allowing me to be what I want to be. And that can make a weakness in the autoimmune system. So as life goes on, you can get like a virus or germs in your body, and they'll go straight to that area and cause more problems. And like asthma and breathing problems is like, you know, like you're being smothered. You can't get air. If you felt in life that you are being smothered and you're not free, you've got rules all around you, you've got dominating people in your life. If you're a very empathetic person, you may find that you just keep attracting narcissists into your life constantly. They are so domineering and they smother you. And because you're such a kind and caring soul and you have a lot of empathy for them, you feel like you can somehow heal them, but you'll never heal them. But so that makes you feel smothered, because you're just not getting anywhere with them. You're not helping them. All you're doing is damaging yourself, and that can start causing you to feel like you're smothered, can't breathe, asthma problems, lung problems. So liver, like the liver is what filters the blood. So it's a cleansing thing. And if you are holding on to anger from the past, the liver holds so much anger. If somebody had an argument with you, they did something to you, and you haven't dealt with the emotions at the time, you can hold all that anger in the liver, and then the liver cells in the liver become weak and they can create disease. So there's so many like parts of our body that is holding on to memories, and sometimes we can't even find the connection. Like I have done meditations in the past where I have released like a feeling of shame, something I felt ashamed about for myself, something I felt like I needed to forgive myself. And once I had done the meditation and then done the EFT tapping on it, some medical problems I had just went away. I wasn't even putting the two and two together. And so the more I have worked on the mind and emotions and clearing up the past and allowing it to come up, the healthier my body is becoming as I get older. Rather than my body deteriorating as I get older, it's actually getting healthier, because I've been working so much on my mind and on the emotions, as well as looking after physically, the diet and exercise. And thankfully I don't have to take medications, but I do believe it's got so much to do with keeping those three lined up, keeping the mind working with the body, listening to the messages your body's telling you, and going with the higher self, the body, mind, and the soul. Keeping the three together. Don't just work on one. Don't just work on just the body, the physical. Bring in the emotions as well, and just try it, because it's definitely worth definitely worth improving your health. If you've tried everything else, you've taken tablets, you've gone down the holistic path, you've gone to healers, if you've done all that but you still haven't tapped into your emotions that you're hanging on to, that might be this is one step that your body's waiting on you to do to clear this up for good. So thanks again for listening to me.